Her public image reached an all-time low, and appearing on The Late Late Show, former husband Brian McFadden wasn't about to lend a helping hand.
You know, as I say, I don't know her anymore. I don't, you know, it's been over 5 years since we've been together, and we haven't spoke in well over 4 years.
Well, I think on that Late Late interview, Brian probably came across a bit selfish, but at the end of the day, when he had split from Kerry, she had cleaned him out completely financially and everything, so he was entitled to go to Australia to try and earn a living, and he couldn't really do it over here because he was obviously seen as the guy from Westlife, so it was much harder.
If I felt that, you know, there was a woman snorting cocaine in the bathroom and that there was that she was throwing tea on the accountant.
Yeah.
And I'm not belittling, because actually it's quite serious. It's not pleasant. I would actually probably emigrate from Australia back to be that close to them.
Well, if they were
so
living
worried.
in New Zealand and you were here doing The Late Late Show, would you quit The Late Late Show and go and get a job in New Zealand?
I'm afraid I would.
Well, you know, it's okay. It's okay to sit there.
No, I'm not trying to get one up on you. Okay.
I mean, your career comes first until you have kids, and then they go hand in hand. It's never, I mean, it's going to be a pretty lonely life if your career always trumps your kids.
It's very easy to take the higher moral ground and say, oh no, you should be there, which is what Ryan did, and said, oh no, I would drop everything, I'd give up my job and all this for my children. Brian has to think about it in practical terms. If Kerry falls apart, if she has been made bankrupt, if she loses everything and he has to bring those children back to Ireland or he takes them to Australia, there's a very big picture here to think about. He's 2 children with a woman who has 4 children. Her second husband has now gone. If he gives up his career, he has very little to raise those children on. I think that needs to be thought about, and I'm sure he's looking at it from every side.
Now desperate, Kerry made one last bid to get her career back on track. She wanted a place on the new series of Celebrity Big Brother. In a crushing blow, she was declared mentally unfit to enter. Now famous for being tragic, in 2010, Kerry entered a fitness camp in a new attempt to rebuild her life.
Boot camp, fitness boot camp for Kerry Katona was just a bad idea. A, of course, there was the rumours that she was having a fling with her fitness instructor. B, God knows what Mark Croft was getting up to while she was gone. And C, her 4 children were just abandoned for a couple of weeks while she decided to lose weight. It's a bad idea. I've since suggested going to fitness camp to my husband, but he ain't buying it.
She thought losing a bit of weight would solve all her problems. She needed an awful lot more help than just losing weight. I don't think she's done rehab seriously, or, you know, counselling she may have done, but it doesn't seem to have worked. She needed not to just lose weight, she needed to get a complete sort of 6-month overhaul.
But husband Mark was waiting in the wings with new nasty allegations, accusing her of an affair with her personal trainer. Then, in the cruelest cut of all, Kerry discovered that the man she had trusted had been using her as a cash cow by leaking information about her to the press.
I wasn't surprised one bit that Mark was in cahoots with the papers. You know, he's a total scumbag, he's a total sponger. To think that all these private stories to do with Kerry have been coming out, and there's only one person that could have really, you know, sold those stories, and that was Mark.
The great irony about Mark admitting that he was selling stories to papers is that he got paid to admit that he was selling stories to the papers. Nothing about Mark Croft surprises me. The man is the ultimate tabloid villain. He is a scumbag. He is only in it for what he can get, and no doubt, unfortunately, we haven't seen the last of Mark Croft.
Tragedy and bad luck have never been far away for Kerry Katona. But are depression and a destructive personality destined to make her crash and burn at every turn?
Can Kerry Katona turn her life around? That is a $1 million question.
I think Kerry has turned it around in the past. Kerry kind of comes up with different ways of staying in the spotlight, whether it's the complete disaster of her life or whether she's just suddenly super slim again and sending a DVD. So she can't rely on anybody. She's realised that. She from her ex-husband to Mark.
There's no reason why she can't. She's signed now to Peter Andre's management, who are going to do a great job with the PR side of it. They're going to turn her into the kind of... I think she just needs to basically clean up her act. She's split from Mark Croft, who was such a bad influence on her life, and every story that ever came out about the two of them was negative. So now that she's split from him, people might see her in a different light and think, you know what, she has got a good head on her shoulders and she can possibly turn it around. It remains to be seen.
If she decided to get out of the public eye. Now, Kerry is bipolar. People with bipolar disorder can lead completely normal and full lives, but I think if you're in the public eye, you put yourself under such strain and such pressure that you make recovery much more difficult.
I suggest that the only way back for Kerry is if someone would really, for once in her life, keep her out of the public eye for at least another 12 months and help her really slay every dragon. And God knows there are too many in her past, too many skeletons, too many dragons, too many awful things happen to that girl for it to come to a happy ending.
Kerry Katona has seen and done it all. From pop star and actress to wife and mother, she has endured more in 30 years than most people do in a lifetime. Refusing to surrender, she has hit back at her critics and is determined to turn her life around for good.
I would like to do more acting, comedy drama maybe, a thriller, a horror.
Maybe we shouldn't write her off just yet.